Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to another live stream. We'll talk about the latest tonight. Jalen Brunson spoke after being unveiled as the captain. Right, it was a great day yesterday. We'll go through the quotes and hear from Brunson. We also had a massive reveal Christmas Day. The Spurs are headed to MSG on Christmas Day. We'll talk about that matchup as well and much more. The Knicks were close to signing a French big man, according to Ian Begley. We'll talk about him and what happened there. The Knicks have lost another assistant coach. We'll talk about that. And of course, preseason schedule was revealed. We'll talk about that as well as we get closer to camp. And we're all buzzing for this season ahead. And a lot of Q&A tonight with the best chat in the biz. Happy Friday night, Knicks Nation. Friday night, Knicks. How you doing? How's everyone doing? Great to be with you. If you're new here, welcome in. Like and subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. We've all got the streets buzzing. And there was legends in the building yesterday. It was a great day. Susan J from Puerto Rico's in the building. How we doing, guys? Lots of news to talk about. And of course, as the camp invites and the roster take shape, we'll talk about the center position as well. But the biggest news I think that broke was Shams' Christmas Day. This one was a surprise for me. The Spurs, right? So Christmas Day revealed, leaked by a tweet. Shams said Spurs at Knicks. That'll be first on the slate. That'll probably be the noon, 1 p.m. tip, something like that. And then the Wolves at the Mavericks. And then we've got the Sixers at the Celtics as well. Is that a preview that you think the NBA thinks maybe that the Sixers and the Celtics are the two teams to beat, right? I would have thought maybe the Knicks Celtics would have been a better matchup, but still nonetheless, Knicks back on Christmas Day. J Boogie, the anthem's going to be buzzing, and it's going to be beautiful. A lot more national TV games to come. Of course, Lakers will be at Warriors. Well, you know, LeBron and Steph back at it. And then the Nuggets at the Suns. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, Jay, Wemby's going to be a problem. Really. Obviously got the gold medal game coming up. France versus Team USA. And that is going to be a great matchup. Definitely to look out for. Wemby's coming, right? But I'm not worried about him right now. You know, our squad is better, but it's definitely going to be a real fun matchup. Real fun matchup. As we talk about what's up. Also, coming up, we'll talk about, like I said yesterday, the Brunson quotes were great. And as he was unveiled as the leader, the captain, we'll talk about that. And we'll obviously the center situation, you know, the Knicks still have that one full roster spot available, guys. And we've got one camp invite, Chuma Akiki, the veteran. And I think he's, you know, a long shot to make the roster. But we've got the $5.2 million exception to spend also. There's some vet minimums out there as well, but I've updated my graphics. Let me know what you think. The Knicks squad, it looks perfect, right? Outside of the center position and needing that, you know, bigger body, that experience, the depth, the rebounding. But I think Leon Rose is going to address that, right? I think he's comfortable with where things are, you know, and obviously we're going to see what else is available. But before we get into the Brunson quotes, like I said at the top of the show, Ian Begley, right, reporting in a latest article, Matthias Lessort, a French big man, 6'9", balling out with the French squad in the Olympics, right? He's averaging 10 boards per 40 with the Team France in the Olympics, right? The Knicks have owned his draft rights since 2020. Back in a draft night trade. And the Knicks were searching, obviously, for the depth before bringing Precious back. And they did inquire to bring this guy in. He's got experience, but unfortunately, so far the player and the club haven't been able to find quote unquote common ground. So whatever that means, probably financially. So yeah, that could have been an opportunity. We'll see. Maybe that is a precursor to something coming up. Let me know your thoughts. Like Jay says, yeah, Wemby. I think this matchup on Christmas Day, we're obviously going to see Chris Paul come into the building. The first, the squad that he's joined, the new look Spurs, right? They've got Harrison Barnes, right? It's going to be our first look at him. They've got Devin Vassell, CP3, and like you said, Wemby is going to be a problem. Susan says, why the Spurs? That caught me off guard, definitely. I feel like they're obviously trying to hype up maybe the next face of the league. I'm just guessing right now, but we saw LeBron, 39 and a half years old, absolutely helped put Team USA on his back, as well as Steph, KD, a lot of aging stars, right? The league is searching for, ready to promote the next big star, right? As those guys are going to depart the league, or their games that, they're going to decline eventually. Father Time is undefeated. But yeah, that was a real surprise to me why it was the Spurs, but I'll take it, because just matchup wise, I think it's going to be an easier win. Not disrespecting any opponent at the moment, but obviously the Knicks should be favourite in that game. Philly, Celtics, either of those I would have preferred, obviously for the spectacle, but here we are. I think it'll be a good matchup anyway. I hate those early games, to be honest with you. The time zone is bad for me, and it's tough for everyone else, but for some people it might be good. You get your Christmas viewing in for lunch, and then maybe you hit the turkey, and then you go out with the fam, maybe whatever it is you do on Christmas Day. Some people like it, the early games, some people don't. Like Jay says, yeah, the NBA is pushing Wemby, definitely, but we'll see. How much of a leap does he take this year? Realistically, I think he'll be more consistent, but I think we saw some really, really big flashes last season. I don't know if this is the year that he's going to take that huge leap to sort of, carry a team to the playoffs yet. Maybe his third season, if I'm predicting as well. Dirty Dancers with us. Salute, Dirty. Trash game to put up against the NFL, I think. Yeah, it really is, I think, doing a favour for themselves and for the Spurs with Wemby. But, they might be a lot more competitive. They might be a lot more competitive this season than some people anticipate too. So we'll continue to talk about that juicy matchup as well. But other bit of news that's just come out as well. The Knicks have lost another assistant coach. This coach is Scott King, and he's headed to be the head coach of the G League Spurs, right? And for those of you that aren't familiar, as you see, Steph Bondi is also letting us know that Scott King is the guy that actually, he signals to Tibbs to do the coach's challenge. So he's on the laptop. This could be the guy who Julius, I think, slapped the laptop, if that makes sense. This seems to be the guy that is on the footage and letting the coaches know, letting Tibbs know whether to challenge the call or not. I don't know how serious Steph is being, but obviously, look, any experienced coach we lose is going to be some kind of a loss, but it's not like he can't be replaced. It's not like he's that important, right? Based on what I know, and we've added to the staff as well. So there we go. We lose Scott King. Congratulations to him on his promotion. Being a head coach of a G League team is quite a big jump from just being, I think, on the sidelines as well. El Tango, salute, guys. We're doing some Q&A. We're going through the latest. Let us know your thoughts, any questions out here you want to discuss, right? This is your show, and we talk about it. Obviously, the last signing we made was the Akiki and Kevin McCullough as well. I feel like the Kevin McCullough thing's gone under the radar a bit. I want to talk about him a little bit more because he's the wild card. Well, I say wild card because we didn't see him in Summer League, right? And if you're looking at NCAA stats, if you're looking at college game, he could be more ready than any of the other rookies to actually contribute if needed. Not saying he's going to get minutes, but if needed, he could be the most ready. If we're talking about Kolek, his playmaking and all of that, but defensively, we're going to wait to see. We're going to wait to see how that looks in the real thing, the real action. But when it comes to Kevin McCullough, 14 points, close to 7 rebounds as well, close to 4 assists, and close to 2 steals per game. And his defense is ready-made. It's all about the health for K-Mac. But I'm excited to see him in action. Hopefully he's healthy come preseason, and we get to see him a lot more. But yeah, I was going to include Steph Castle as well in that graphic. We're going to get a look at Stephon Castle, and he's basically one of the highest upside rookies. We'll see how he looks in that matchup. Susan says we could lose that coach, Scott King, because Tibbs is surrounded by other great coaches. Yeah, we definitely can replace assistants, and we wish him well. But yeah, it's not gonna derail the hype train for the New York Knicks and all of that. Speaking of hype train, Jalen Brunson yesterday. I don't know how much of the footage or the quotes you heard of Brunson. It started with a tribute video from Patrick Ewing narrating a video, paying props to what he said was a born leader, seeing JB around the facility when Ewing was playing, and he was teammates with his pops, with Rick Brunson, and he could see from day one, his energy was infectious, and Brunson was around the facility. And then we had a video of all his current teammates as well. OG Anunoby, his brief salute was perfect for his personality. Was a little bit of trolling there. We heard from Julius on there. We heard from everyone, all the way down to Precious Achiuwa. I don't think we saw the rookies in it, but all the current main squad guys letting their guy know, JB, that they're behind him 100%, congratulating him on this achievement as well. Salute Paula. How we doing? And then we also heard, we saw a video of all New York sports personalities and legends, right? We had Eli Manning, we had Messier, we had the captain, Derek Jeter, we had Aaron Rodgers, and a lot of other people that are missing, but a lot of other sporting legends letting Brunson know how much they enjoy watching him, and just, saying, just continue, man, continue the great work as well. We'll get into those quotes too tonight, guys. Salute. Obviously, preseason has been announced as well, and we'll talk about that right now, and then we'll get into the Brunson quotes. But yeah, any thoughts on Matthias Lessort? I haven't watched Team France once in this Olympics, actually. I've missed it, but I'll definitely be catching the gold medal game, 100%. And this guy is still in the prime of his career, so maybe he comes one day. Maybe he comes, but, it's interesting to see. I'm glad. I kept saying, guys, Leon Rose was going to leave no stone unturned, and will still continue to leave no stone unturned when it comes to filling the big man position. And here we go. We heard from Ian Begley that the Knicks reached out to the reps of this guy, this big man, Lessort, and they spoke to him about coming on board. They couldn't find common ground though, so the Knicks are obviously skimp with their with the money being close to the apron right now. Yeah, Dirty says he's 6'7", centre pass. He's reported to be 6'8", 6'9", but he's kind of like I guess precious in that regard if he's undersized. You know, we need a bigger body. We definitely need a guy with more size, right? If we are bringing a centre on board like that, otherwise it's just a double up. Yeah, the in terms of the Brunson announcement, it did catch me off guard. You know, announcing Brunson as a captain. Maybe I'm gonna guess it was the front office, Leon Rose's idea, just to, you know, just to throw something out there more meaningful for Brunson, and just to, you know, for taking his extension and doing what he's done as a reward, to say, hey, you know, you're unofficially captain, we'll make it official. But in terms of the preseason, any matchups that interest you the most? I'm looking at Minnesota, October 13. It's one day before my birthday. That is a 7 p.m. primetime tip as well. I really look forward to the Washington one as well. There's two. One home, one away. The Charlotte ones I'm not caring as much, but obviously the first game is against Charlotte. It will be, you know, a staggered rotation. It'll be a warm-up. It'll be guys probably playing 10, 15 minutes, get out of there, and then there'll be the extended garbage time. But the difference is, with extended garbage time now, guys, we have guys that, you know, we want to see play a little. You know, I want to see what McCullough has got. I want to see Ariel Hukporty, Jericho Sims get that extended mop-up early in preseason. I want to see Keita Bates-Diop early. These guys are learning the playbooks, and these guys are going to be trying to figure things out with the main squad. Yeah, yeah, Paula, I'm watching the gold medal game closely. That's going to be fascinating, but I think the US will blow them out. For the men's, I do think that the final was kind of against Serbia, and Team USA got over the hump. But Frankie Smokes, Ntilikina, and Evan Fournier still with the squad as well, playing well. Al Tango says K-Mac looks impressive for what I've seen, as long as he doesn't become a sick call member. Has good size, good instincts, a decent midi. His best attributes come on the defensive side with rebounding. Yep, that's a good scouting report, my guy. I think he's going to fit in terms of hard-nosed. He plays hard. Tibbs is going to appreciate what he brings, you know, if and when he's ready to play, whenever that is. He's one for the future, I think. And yeah, he's going to learn from, you know, really, really, really good players. You know, Josh Hart at his position. He's going to learn from the OGs, the Mikal Bridges. So is Daddy A as well. I mentioned kind of forgotten guys. If there's two that I feel like are going under the radar for me, one of them is Kevin McCullough. In terms of the hype heading into this season, I think there's two guys going under the radar. The first one I think is Kevin McCullough for the reasons like I just said before, and we didn't get to see him, you know, in the Summer League. The second guy is Pacome Daddier. Obviously, we don't really need him to be a big contributor at all this season, probably even next season. But the fact that he's got that upside, the talent, the length, and the skill set offensively to be a two-way guy, I think G League, you know, it's going to be big for his development. But yeah, he could be a forgotten guy, I think. And I'm going to be watching a lot of G League, Westchester as well. Yeah, it's the first time since we've had a captain, since Lance Thomas. Well, he was a good leader, you know, in the locker room and off the court. On the court, he didn't, you know, his game was so different, in different levels, all of that. Jet Life, what's up? maybe the dude for France was just supposed to be insurance for Precious as a backup for Randle after the inevitable trade, Precious Achua. Yeah, I think financially they were open to bringing him in, but at their number, a nice tradable contract, like you said, maybe someone who could give them a spell at the moment, and actually, be a veteran in a pinch. But we've got Precious. I'm glad about it. I'm happy about it. And also, against bigger teams, we are going to face some adversity. But regular season, I'm not really worried about it at this point. Now, let's hear from Brunson. Now, he said he wanted to be here for the rest of his career. Winning trumps everything I do individually. That was no surprise to hear JB speak about that. I've just handpicked the best quote, so we're not going to hear about everything. But if you haven't heard it yet, I'm going to bring it up right now.
Priority, I secured, I think, a decent amount of money to support myself and my family and my extended family, foremost. In the current time, didn't have to wait a year. There's a lot, like I said, a lot can happen in a year. Everyone in this room has seen a lot happen in the year when players wait out. So that's one thing. Two, like I said, I will love to be here. Want to be here for the rest of my career. Winning trumps everything that I do individually. Like I said, when we win as a team, individuals can grow from that. Everyone can eat from that. That's just the thing that's all in my mind at all times is what can we do to win. Priority, I secured, I think, a decent amount of money to support myself and my family and my extended family.
Next up, we also heard from Ian Begley, and he gives us some details on the Tibbs extension. Right, 3 years, north of 30 million. Right, so he also talked. He summarised the Brunson press conference. So yeah, Ian Begley also letting us know Tibbs got the 3-year extension, about 10 million per. So that was reported around that number as well. Well deserved for Tibbs, but those numbers have now come out. So he's one of the highest paid coaches, but that is kind of close to the market value. Right. Here is a perfect video. Like I said before, man, it took me back just as a fan, growing up. And Patrick Ewing was my idol. And seeing him congratulate JB on his captaincy as well. Like I said, yeah, being that presence in the locker room growing up. It just hits home how close this organization is from top to bottom. From these guys and the connections from the Brunsons to the Knicks, early in Brunson's childhood, which, set the tone for him, to grow to achieve to be in the NBA, but also make it as a second-round draft pick, make it as an all-star now, find his way to the biggest franchise, the Knicks, until now eventually become the captain, right? It's been an incredible journey to get to where we're at now. He's only 28, but winning trumps all, just like JB said. He wants to be that guy to lead this franchise to the win. The Spurs matchup, it was a surprise to me, but like I said before, chat, I think the NBA wanted to, elevate Wemby as well a little bit more. For being the next face, Curry, LeBron, KD, they're all on the way out, right? Devin Booker, Ant-Man, Jason Tatum, Wemby, going to be the new faces of the league, pretty much. Agent, what's up? Salute Johnny. Johnny says, congrats, salutations. Cap Brunson deserves those accolades. He is the face of the team. And Danny's with us as well. Salute. Great to see you in the chat. I'm buzzing. You're buzzing. Looking forward to this season ahead. Right. We've finally got some preseason dates now. 3 out of the 5 are at MSG. We're going to be looking at a lot of these French prospects too. Alex Sarr against the Wizards. Their draft pick is something like top 12 protected for the Knicks this season. Next season, it's like top 9 protected. You know, it might be wise to find a way to trade that pick before it just becomes 2 second rounders. You know, also Jonas Valančiūnas could be the perfect target at the trade deadline as well. And we'll hear from Brunson right now about the team's expectations. But yeah, you know, who is the perfect big man that you think the Knicks should target at the deadline if they are looking for that reinforcement at that time, which I think they will be? I think Davis Bertans is a guy positionally that makes sense maybe to fit this roster for now, and then he could be trade salary when it comes around. So agent says, I heard rumours that Julius isn't taking a pay cut. Will the Knicks be able to sign him? That is the next order of business, is the Julius Randle extension. I'm going off the reports, and I feel like this makes a lot of sense, that both sides aren't, they're not panicking, or they're not trying to, get an extension done ASAP. They're happy to let things play out. Julius has got a big year ahead. The Knicks are, the roster's set. The Knicks are trying to win a championship. They might use this year for both sides to see how things play out. And then maybe, one gets more leverage than the other. And then, Julius is a guy who bets on himself. I think he'll want the highest that he can possibly get. Like most players, and like pretty much every player, understands that their career is only for a certain period of time, and Julius has gotten paid well in the league, but he's a 3-time All-Star as well. So his agent will be figuring out, obviously, the market value around the league as well. But I expect, my prediction hasn't changed. I still think Julius will get extended with the Knicks, but a lot of that could have to do with this season and how things play out. I don't think an extension will get done before the season. I think, like I said, both sides, this is reporting from Ian Begley, that both sides seem to be pretty calm in terms of letting it play out. Obviously, we're in a really tricky financial situation right now, but if we're winning on the court, I always say it, winning cures all, winning fixes all, right? If we get the number 1 seed, we make the NBA Finals, we hopefully win it. If we don't win it, you run it back, and, I could easily see something getting done, right? It's a matter of both sides have, their goals. Julius is obviously to get the security, get an extension, but at what number, and that's for his agent to work out. I do think an extension gets done. Leon Rose, has always been able to, he understands the market, growing a powerhouse agency, representing the biggest clients. Now, as president of the Knicks, he understands market value and around the league as well. He got all the extensions done for everyone else. I don't expect that this one won't get done either. I expect it to happen. Now, on that, Brunson's team and this season ahead.
Knowing what we were able to do in the past and knowing we can better is our first step. Obviously, we have great pieces, but how can we put that together, go even further? And we've already kind of turned this whole thing around, but how can we go a next step? And so everything's great. I mean, obviously, on paper, we have a very good team, but what are we going to do with it? No, we can't just say, oh, you guys are going to be good. Like, we can't listen to the positive things that people say about us. We can't listen to the negative things that people say about us. It's going to be a roller coaster the entire year, but it's how can we figure out to keep pushing forward and not really worry about anything else that's happening outside these lines.
Spoken like a true leader, true captain, right? Jalen Brunson's just straight down the line, right? It's all about winning for him and our family. Man, looking at that, those images of Patrick, I've wanted Patrick to be more involved in the organization more. A lot of people asking me why Patrick didn't get an assistant job with the Knicks. And without hearing, from sources or any concrete reports, I'm assuming Patrick has been a head coach as in college. He's also been a long-time assistant coach. For him to take another job in the NBA, right? I think he's paid his dues. He wants to be a head coach. So, not necessarily saying he doesn't want to be an assistant coach with the Knicks, but I'm sure that his goal is still to be a head coach. And an assistant coach is a step down from that. But regardless, it's great to see Patrick with the organization still. Like I said, narrating that video, paying tribute to Brunson as well, and his recollections of Brunson growing up around him and Rick, around the facility, and all of that. Man, it was great. And then all the teammates as well, the banter and the chemistry in the front office, in the locker room, is going to be perfect. Coming up. And then Brunson was asked about why did he take the deal that he was extended at, and obviously he spoke for the first time on that. He's completely comfortable with what he's done. He's well off. His family's well off as well. But he said there's no guarantees. You have to wait another year, and you don't know what could happen. You don't know what could happen. He took security, right? He took security. A lot of people are talking about that he left X amount of money on the table, but he also set himself up, in his future as well with that security. So I can't be mad at that at all. No one should be. Now, there's a lot of people on other sides that had an issue with what Brunson's done, but he's his own man. He can make his own decisions, and he made it, right? Who is anyone to tell someone to not take security? Yes, there's the whole CBA, the labour market, all of those things. But when you're a 6'1", 6'2" point guard, from basically the early in your career was from humble beginnings, and then you achieve success, but getting that security is big. But the biggest thing that came out to me with what Brunson said is he wanted to be here. He wanted it to be with the Knicks, and he wanted to be a winner and to help the organization do that. Right, that was another catalyst to taking that deal. So look at that squad. I mean, basically with Mikhal's extension coming up soon, and then Randle now extension eligible, this is a championship caliber squad, right? And obviously we're going to talk about the center position now coming up, and some potential targets, some trades coming up mid-season, and remaining free agents. Let me know who you would like to see the Knicks maybe add to the center position. But Precious is coming back. Big time move to get him back. That was the security, the stability. Otherwise, we probably would have had to part with more picks, to get a Nick Richards, do an overpay, try to get Walker Kessler. Which is interesting because, the Utah Jazz did something that I didn't expect, and that is to extend Lauri Markkanen to that huge deal. Now they've got Walker Kessler still as well, right? They'll be looking to tank. But how many games can you lose? How many games can you lose with talent like that, right? They've got Keontae George. They've got Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, and some other guys as well that they picked up in the draft. They'll still be bad, but Cooper Flagg is that next, huge franchise-changing talent. So we'll see what Utah do. Maybe the price comes down for a Walker Kessler as the season progresses, which is why I've been on record to say I think it's smart with what Leon Rose has done with waiting. Don't overpay right now, because more bigs will become available. I think some people panicked because they think like this. They think that this is going to be the roster that finishes the season, and or early in the season they're worried about maybe a Mitch, missing time. But when it comes to guys who can play the center position, we've got some guys. It's makeshift, but we've got some small ball options. We've got some backup center options that are less experienced, but I think could hold us down in a pinch, especially with elite perimeter defenders like OG and Mikal. Josh Hart on the perimeter as well, Dante, Deuce McBride. It starts there. Your perimeter defense, your point of attack D. If they get beat, obviously having Mitch back there to protect the rim is exactly what we need. And right now he's healthy. So hopefully wishing a full season of health for Mitchie. He's going to be so important for our chances. But Leon Rose will address, I think, the backup position. I think Precious is most likely going to be a trade candidate, right? If he's playing extremely well and things just look like they're humming and the Knicks are in the top 2 seed come the trade deadline, maybe they have second thoughts about it, about staying pat. But I do think that Leon Rose will make that transaction. If you look at just the history, Leon Rose has made a trade every trade deadline since he's been in the Mecca as the president. And I don't see that changing. I think he will address it. So there is the situation in Washington, guys, with Jonas Valančiūnas. Now he's on $10 million. There was a real report out there that Jonas Valančiūnas is going to be available because the Wizards will be looking to recoup some assets. Yeah, I'm going to bring up that report because I did see it. We talked about Kevin McCullough, I'm glad. But here we go. So the expectation, this is according to Sean Devaney of Heavy.com, is that the Washington Wizards will begin looking for a deal for Valančiūnas in December when he becomes eligible to be traded. Very trade-friendly contract as well. They've got Alex Sarr, they've got some bigs. They are, as their roster is currently constructed, they're not a play-in team. They're not a playoff team. And like I said, once you get closer to the deadline and you want to rack up more losses, wave the white flag for Cooper flag. It makes sense, I think. Make America gross again. With the Yankees logo, salute. How many games will OG play, y'all think? Was he worth the $212 million? In terms of was he worth it first, based on the play, based on his impact coming in, I would say absolutely he was worth it. Players like him are so hard to find around the league. They're players that a lot of GMs would take, and this might sound funny to some, but OG is the type of player that maybe half the GMs in the league would take over an all-star, over a borderline all-star, because he's just harder to find. Those type of players are harder to find. So, but to answer the other part of your question, if you're not playing enough, then there's a real problem. If you're not playing enough. So when it comes to OG, I hope he plays 65, 65, 70. I think I would sign off for that right now and be healthy for the postseason. Regular season, that was the beauty of what we did, getting Bridges, getting Randle back. We can handle the 2, 3, 4 spots without OG. But with that said, we need him. We need the best of him come postseason, right? Otherwise, the deal will look bad. Otherwise, the contract will look overpay. Postseason is where his value really comes in. And I think OG, we should start by limiting his minutes in terms of, well, limiting might be not the right word, but being cautious about overplaying him too many minutes. Back to backs, let's chill with the minutes. Ideally 28 to 32. Try not to reach that threshold as well. Susan says Precious is going to the Wiz for Jonas. That's a good prediction. Not saying it's going to happen, not saying I've heard anything, but I think Precious signing the 1-year deal, it's very tradable, that contract as well. But things can change. Like I said, Precious might be playing awesome and absolutely solidify the backup role. Mitch is healthy. Maybe we are the number 1 seed. Maybe we can sign a veteran center on the margins and not give up Precious. But if I'm a betting man, I think it's a pretty good bet to make that Precious will be traded. Valančiūnas, maybe there's competition that the Knicks have to beat out. Maybe there is some guys around the league, the Lakers, guys that they're a team that's reportedly going to go heavy for Valančiūnas come the deadline. So that could be something to watch, right? His contract is very friendly. A lot of teams are going to be able to put together $10 million to get Valančiūnas. He's also only on a 3-year deal as well, which is not going to hurt too many teams as well. It's not like it's a 4 or 5 year deal, 3-year deal. After this one, it'll only be 2 years left. It's going to be interesting. What I would do early with the center position, assuming the Knicks add nobody extra, assuming maybe Sims, Hakporty, and Skapinsev at the training camp are the other guys, I would say Mitch should play 26 to 28 minutes, play a little bit of Randle or OG, just a little, and then play Precious the rest at the 5, and do our best to try to keep Mitch healthy as long as we possibly can. Don't forget, we got Casey Smith, the lead sports science doctor in the business. He's the best in the biz, so that was a great pickup. And yeah, Susan, Leon Rose keeps things close before, and then he makes the swing. It's a huge bomb. But yeah, the biggest news that's broke, if you're just joining us, welcome in, guys. Please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Welcome in. The Knicks are facing the Spurs on Christmas Day. That took me by surprise. I knew the Knicks would be on Christmas Day, but against the Spurs, that's a real head scratcher for me. But looking at it from the NBA perspective, they're probably looking to, make Wemby the face of the league as soon as they possibly can. You've got all the international money. The NBA's been going to Paris for a regular season game for a while. Last year it was the Brooklyn Nets, I think, versus Cleveland. Went to Paris. Won't be surprised if there's another Paris game on the schedule with Wemby as well. JB was named the captain. A+ transaction move, right? Natural born leader, and his actions have done the speaking, but he also got to speak, which is great to hear what he had to say. I'm ready for camp, guys. Would Leon trade OG halfway through the season if he isn't healthy? I don't see it. I think, well, one, trading a dude who's not healthy is really difficult. But yeah, I don't see any major trade of any of these major pieces this season. If this season is a real underwhelming failure, maybe next season in the off season there's a little shake up. But yeah, I think they're going to give this season a full go with everyone on the roster, fam. But yeah, things can change quickly in the NBA. This is how things sit right now. But obviously, if a team can come with lots of draft picks, something might change. But it would have to be a huge deal, too good to refuse. Sousa says OG's not going anywhere. The Knicks didn't get him well just to trade him. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it would have to be maybe a year, couple years of failure and underwhelming situations, which I don't see happening. El Tango, people don't realize Jules didn't take a max contract. He could have during his first contract extension, so he might feel like he already took a discount and isn't doing it again. He wants his money. I don't hold this against any player. Take the Julius Randle Knicks situation aside. This could be any player from any other team. I think every player is entitled to go for as much as they possibly can get for their market. This is their job. This is their careers, all of that. It's up to the front office to figure it out. It's up to their agent to figure it out, right? The thing for me personally and us as fans, like, I prefer to focus more on the basketball side, but the business side sometimes gets in the way, and I get it because it is a business. But right now, I'm thankful that Julius is here. I'm thankful he's under contract for at least another year. I'm thankful everybody's healthy right now. I'm thankful we're going to get to watch a hell of a basketball team this season. And whatever happens, if they fall short or if they get it done, I think the X's and O's, the dollars will figure it out. The moves, Leon Rose has been aware of this situation for a while. But yeah, like you said, El Tango, I think Julius has been loyal to the Knicks. The Knicks have showed him loyalty as well. So there's no reason for me to believe that isn't going to continue. Forget all the outside noise. What we only need to care about is what is in that front office, what is in that locker room, right? There's a lot of outside noise saying the Knicks want this guy, the Knicks are pining for Cat, all of that. So far, actions speak louder than words, and Leon Rose has been loyal to Julius and vice versa, Tibbs as well. But yeah, I think Julius will be looking for the best possible deal for his future, his family. He's approaching 30 now. He's also had a couple of injuries recently, which are freak injuries. But that could factor into his mindset to where if it does get to a number where it's like, okay, this is solid, maybe that pushes him to take the security if it's there on the table, right? Maybe not hold out fully for us every single, amount that he could get. But I don't know, it's up to him. I think he is a kind of player who plays really tough, really hard. Physically, I mean, it's taxing on his body. But last thing I'll say on the Julius thing, winning trumps all. I think the team want to see this season. He wants to bet on himself by all accounts. And if the team is winning this season, then that is going to push things in the direction that both sides want. If we're not winning this season, then yeah, best believe there'll probably be some changes. We're in this to win this. At the end of the day. What are your thoughts on the Chuma Akiki pickup? All right, I don't think he's going to make the roster, but he could raise some eyebrows in camp. I think he could turn some heads. 4 years of experience in the league, mature body. He can defend. He can play both sides of the ball. He's been a little inconsistent with the three and the shooting. Solid in the mid-range, right? He's a good flyer to take in terms of an upside swing. I just don't think he'll make that final roster spot because I think the Knicks will be looking to add a veteran with more value. Who's more injury prone, KD or OG? Would you trade OG for KD straight up halfway through the season? I would say no. I would say OG's a younger guy. Injuries aside, he's got a longer period of his career to go. Yeah, I think that's just pie in the sky kind of stuff, kind of 2K stuff. But yeah, KD ain't coming to the Knicks from what I see. That boat has sailed to. I think both. The Knicks were open to that 2019, but that boat sailed. Susan says Randle's not going anywhere. The Knicks organization loves Randle, period. Like I said, there's been a lot of loyalty in the building, and Leon Rose's actions speak louder than words. So, you don't need to look any further than the trends of the Knicks and what Leon's been doing and all the moves. And forget about the outside noise. There's reports that are going to come out that Julius wants more, or the Knicks don't want to pay, and or vice versa, and all of this stuff. All you need to care about is that Leon Rose has got it. He's got it. He's got the best capologist. I think this season they're not panicking. They want to run it into the season. They want to see how everything looks, right? Both sides want what they want. Obviously, Julius is looking for that extension, and it's going to come, whether it's with the Knicks or not. But right now, the team is built to win, right? You just go out there and get it done. Al Tango says, I like Randle. He's been one of the best players on the Knicks, excluding the playoffs, where he's been one of the worst players in the NBA, period. I think he's had struggles. He's had struggles in the playoffs, and that is so far the knock on his career. I think the situations when those playoffs came around were different to the situations we're in right now. The squad is deeper. The squad has got more talent. Julius Randle's role on this squad might change a little, right? And we'll wait to see on that. I'm not the coach, but if I'm predicting, his usage won't be as high as it was back in that 2021 go-around against Atlanta, where, he was having to carry the team a lot more back then. No doubt we've got Jalen Brunson now, Mikal Bridges, OG, and I think, his game can fit with this squad seamlessly, but his role might change a little. So with that said, I'm not worried about Julius's previous playoffs so much. If he struggles again, then that'll be something that'll, will play its part in whether or not, he's around for the long term. But I could see him being really effective with this squad. I could see it. So we'll wait to see how the season plays out. The playoffs, obviously a different animal. Guys key in on you, different matchups as well. KD, that boat has sailed. He's playing in Phoenix now. But if he ever came calling to the Knicks, I wouldn't give up anything significant, to be honest. Not because I don't respect KD's game, but he's just approaching the very, very, very late stages of his, prime, his career right now. And, it could be a real steep drop-off. And we good. We're in a good position right now. Like Paula said, KD a few years back, but not now. Dorkasaurus with us, salute. How we doing, guys? Smash that like button. Live stream Q&A and talking about the latest with you all. We've all got the streets buzzing. Dorkasaurus says, we're at the point where, at least until Feb, the only reasonable option is to call up Scap. That or trade way too much for a desperate trade that might not work out ultimately. Leon Rose is thinking similar, I think. I do think that they're more comfortable with the personnel we have right now. But we also know that is a weakness of the team. And that is something that would be the first move to address, I think, should some bumps along the road come along. Mitchie's healthy right now, right? He's ready to play 28, 32 minutes for right now. But we do have Precious, who has experience. He's not the ideal backup. But a point I made on a previous show, guys, is how many backups in the league actually hurt you. Most benches run and gun. Most benches play undersized guys at the 5. Most guys play fast off the bench. So if Mitch goes down or misses time, then it becomes a priority, number one, to get somebody in ASAP. But as we have right now, I think we're okay. And we've got different options. So yeah, one of the best things to me that Leon has done is to remain patient. Right? He didn't overpay for Donovan Mitchell. Right? We wouldn't have this squad we're looking at right now if he had to overpay for Donovan Mitchell, for Danny Ainge. We wouldn't even have Jalen Brunson, most likely, as well. So we have Leon Rose's patience to thank for that. Going out, I always said it the moment it came out, overpaying for Walker Kessler, a guy who's a marginal talent, marginal starter in the league for me. One, Mitchell Robinson's a better option, right? He's on our team and he's healthier. If Walker Kessler was his backup, that would be amazing. Or Walker Kessler started and Mitch is his backup, that would be amazing. But not at the price to overpay and give up one of your last few picks available, which could hurt you in the future. So I like what Leon did. He remained patient. But yeah, great point about Scap. I think Scap can come into training camp, and maybe he could be another insurance piece. I think he'll be in Westchester. I think he'll be a guy who actually will be in our backyard still, like last season. I appreciate you guys, your comments, thoughts, questions out here. Replay squad, salute. I appreciate you joining us as well on the replay. Hope everything's well with you. Friday night, Knicks, off-season talk. We've got some schedule leaks. Dare I say, man, early next week, we're going to get the full schedule drop, or close to. We're going to get most of the holidays announced, and it's only days away. I'm excited. Al Tango asks, do you think if Julius underperformed in the playoffs again, will they trade him? I think a trade is difficult. I think a trade is always difficult when you're dealing with a bigger salary, right? I think if Julius underperformed in the playoffs, what are the circumstances? Did the team also underperform? I think a lot of that is very vague in terms of was he injured? Were the shooting numbers bad? Was his decision making bad? What elements of that? Because some things can be fixed, some things can be worked on. But I think if the team, let's just say as a team, Julius and the team underperformed and we didn't reach the goals that we needed, given the contract situation and where it's at, I could see the team looking at options. I could see the team definitely looking at options. I think everyone's in their prime and everybody wants to win right now. Howard, what's up? Says, when the Knicks finally win, Julius Randle will knock me on the squad. Take that to the bank. Will not be on the squad, I'm assuming you're saying. So you're not as optimistic that when we do win, Julius won't be here. Vaughn says, it's a revenge game for us. We lost the heartbreaker to the Spurs with Jalen and Wemby went ham. Man, appreciate you. How could I forget that? That was the Jalen Brunson 60-point game. Right. That was the 60-point game and Wemby went off for 40, right? That was crazy. That was the prelude to this, the revenge game, like you said. Dude, we're going to be getting it and getting him back for that one. Christmas Day matchup. Knicks Spurs. Right. At least it's in our building. Fam. We're going to get our first look at the rookie Stephon Castle. We're also going to get a look at Harrison Barnes, who's on the team, and CP3. Right. We know CP3's been a nemesis in our side for a while. Appreciate the comments, guys, the questions. How's your week been? I think based on the reporting with Julius's extension, both sides are comfortable running it into the season, right? Julius is cool holding out. He wants the number he wants. He's confident of a bounce back season, a big season. The Knicks are very confident we'll be winning, and I do think that it'll get sorted. But winning can cure all, right? This team can beat Boston, right? There are a lot of people that believe that. I believe that. I believe this team can get to the NBA Finals, right? And for that, Dolan could just put his, whatever options are on the table. Dolan could just say, hey, this team is going to win. Make it happen. Keep everybody, pay everybody, make it happen, and keep everybody. But winning cures all. If we're not winning, options might open up. Yeah, I'm done with the KD discussion as well, right? I've never been the biggest KD guy, but what he did in 2019 was just basically follow Kyrie to the weaker side, you know? Dorkasaurus says Raw's video about Sims and Precious playing together as a duo. I don't have much faith in Sims, but the numbers he presented were convincing. I believe anything can happen with the current guys on the squad. I believe that in a pinch, those guys can play minutes. I believe Sims can improve to a certain extent. That is a certain extent. Can he be super consistent? We have to wait to see if that can happen. I haven't been confident that he can be super consistent. But as a backup third string, yep, it's fine for me. Precious should be the primary backup for opening night. I'm confident with that. I think we've got different options. Like I said, OG can guard fives. Randle could guard some fives in a pinch. Not full time, but in a pinch. And just do it by committee. Ariel Huckporty's on a two-way. He's available to play real minutes on a two-way deal. He's not on a G League deal. He can come up and down. We'll see how he looks in camp. But yeah, Skapansev's a dude that we could bring in as well. And like I said, I do think the front office will be keeping an eye out for all of the available bigs, right? Because don't forget, there will be fire sales, fam. There is every single year in the league, right? Once teams get to the deadline, they assess where they're at. Are we going to be close to the play-in? Are we going to be able to make the playoffs? Or should we go backwards? And should we tank for Cooper Flag as well? Never forget that. Detroit, they've got so many bigs. Isaiah Stewart, the Jalen Duren. Portland, they've got DeAndre Ayton. Utah, they've got Walker Kessler. Washington, they've got Jonas Valančiūnas. Charlotte, they've got Nick Richards. Right. If those teams are on the cusp of losing or winning, they have to make a decision. And that's where options are going to open up for the New York Knicks. That's why I like what Leon Rose has done. He's kept one roster spot available. He's got $5.2 million at his disposal to spend as well. We've got a tradable salary in Precious. Everything is primed for the New York Knicks to make a move if they need to, when they need to. And there will be some teams that are going to sell. There will be some teams that need to sell as well. So I like the position we're in. Howard says, no more time for insurance. CT, the light's green. Let's go. Walker Kessler or the kid on the Hornets. And Make America Gross Again says Huckporty is better than Scap, I believe. I like Huckporty, but truth is we need to see him produce. We need to see him do it. I look forward to preseason. We've got the announcement. We've got the schedule release for preseason action, and I can't wait. We're gonna get our looks at Washington in these preseason games against Charlotte as well. The Knicks were close to getting in this big man from France who he held his rights since 2020, Matthias Lessort. But balling out with the France national team. Reporting Ian Begley on that one. But yeah, pre-season's been revealed. We're going to get our look at Valančiūnas and against Nick Richards as well, right? What would happen to you if we're playing Charlotte, we're playing Washington, and Jericho Sims or Skapinsev or Hukporty are outplaying Nick Richards or are holding their own? That could change the equation, So everything Leon Rose is doing, I agree with. Like I said, yeah, I like what he's doing. You wait to see how it plays out. You don't have to pull the cart before the horse. The playoffs haven't hit yet. You've got yourself some time to figure out which big might become available, which might be the best option at the right price too. Last I checked, the playoffs don't start till, next April, right? We're only in we just hit August, fam, as well. We've got a long time. All we have to do is win games in the regular season, stay healthy, and we'll see what plays out. But like Vaughan said, man, the revenge game against Wemby, I like it. Susan, NBC is going to be after this season. So this is the final season of the current TV deal. Then NBC will be in next season, not this one coming up. But I look forward to NBC being back. Of course, the intro, the theme, different. Maybe they'll bring fresh ideas. Hopefully, more serious coverage. I think, TNT was played out for us. Shesvy. Leon should be taking a long look at these players on the South Sudan team. No stone unturned. I think he's looked at everything, fam. The Knicks, I know a few of the Knicks scouts, and I do know of more that I haven't, that I don't know in terms of their names. I see them in photos and things like that. The Knicks have a very big scouting team based on some draft coverage that I've done and some draft scouting that I've done as well of some prospects in Australia. The Knicks are worldwide, fam. They get busy. They travel the globe looking at all these players. They know of all those South Sudan players, like you said. They know them individually. JT Thor is one. Malok is going to be, he's 16 or just turned 17. He's going to be a lottery pick coming up in the draft as well. 7-footer that moves like, a wing as well. Yeah, there's a lot of talent. I think South Sudan is coming up. They're serious. Sousa says Hukporty. We've got some guys, Scapel Hukporty. Dorkasaurus says, I think we all big Hukporty believers in here would be blown away if he didn't step up in the NBA at least a little bit. It depends what his role is going to be early. Could he give you pinch minutes? For sure. I think his pro experience will really help him in the beginning, but he'll still have some foul issues, but can he be serviceable with the rebounding, setting picks, rolling hard, rim protecting, a little short roll action? I think he'll be very solid from the beginning, but his decision making and his ability to stay out of foul trouble usually does hamper all bigs early in their career because it's tough. You got the game happens at a different speed. You've really got to be prepared, I think, early. But Hukporty, I think, has the preseason to impress. We'll see. CP3 is definitely getting up in age, fam, and yeah, this could be an opportunity to end his career on a good note, but I don't think he'll win anything with the Spurs. Time is not on his side. Tibbs won't tolerate Precious at centre for very long. We'll see how it plays out. I do think what we've heard is true, is that they do prefer Precious as a 4 more, but right now Leon Rose has got options. They do see Sims and Huckporty in the practice facility as well. They do get a closer look at these guys as adverse to us as fans as well. So their worry or panic level, I don't think, is at the same level as some fans. I think because they get to see these guys in the facility. They know what they're capable of. Now, I don't think they're fully content. Like, I don't think they're, that they believe that there isn't an addition to be made. I do think they've been trying different options. They talked to the Hawks for Clint Capella. They talked to the Jazz. They've talked to other teams, the Charlotte Hornets. They've done a lot of research. But right now, I think they're just keeping their cards. They're keeping their cards for now. My biggest thing is consistency, Valančiūnas and Nick Richards both don't play enough D, says Howard. Let us know who your preferred option is. Knicks 25 champs is in the building. Hopefully we win it this season. And you're right, fam. You'll be a prophet. Optimus to G, salute. CP3 is a clown. He's had his moments in the league. He's hurt us a lot, but we are on the better side right now. Brunson is going to ball out. He'll remember that game. 60 piece and a loss. Right, that was tough. Howard, appreciate your comments. Appreciate it. Guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We've got more guests lined up and a huge season preview. Right, we'll be talking about every single player leading into the season, expectations, all of that right now. We're chopping up the latest news, and there is a little bit more this week, but not as much, obviously, as during the season. We've got the preseason schedule. I don't think there'll be any more games. I think that looks about it. October 6, 9, 13, 15, and 18. It's hard to squeeze any more games in between there. Maybe there's another game between October 6 and 9. Or maybe 9 and 13. But 6 games would probably be a little bit too much. 5 is about right, I think. 5 preseason games. You can treat the first couple of games very casually. You could just maybe not even play any of your main guys in the first one. Get a good look at these situationals. I personally would look at the first game as like, maybe if Brunson plays, he plays 8 minutes and then he just gets out of there. And then Deuce takes over and then you get Campaign and Kolek to see out the rest of the game. You get a look at McCullough if he's healthy because you haven't seen him in Summer League. You use it to get a good look at Keita Bates-Diop, Huckporty and Sims and Precious. There's no need to be playing Josh Hart, I don't think, in the first couple of preseason games. At least not major minutes. There's probably no need to be playing Mitchell Robinson, at least in the first couple of preseason games. Right, keep him healthy. Julius as well will probably need a little bit more of a run to for a tune-up. He's obviously missed a little bit of time. OG Anunoby, no need to play him much. Mikal Bridges, who's been very, very durable. You probably, integrate him a little bit earlier into preseason. That's how I would approach preseason early. The first game against the Hornets and the Wiz, get a good look at these camp invite guys. Get a good look at the other centers just to see how they can go. Fam, let me know your thoughts. What would you do for these 5 preseason games, right? I certainly won't be surprised if Brunson doesn't play in the first game. Maybe the first couple. Optimus says the Knicks are going to have to deal with it for the first 50 games or so with the way things are shaken out presently. We have bodies, we can play small ball 5. We've got Precious still as a backup. We've got Sims and Huckporty, maybe Scap as well. So it really does hinge on Mitch and Mitch's health. If Mitch needs to miss any regular season time, then it becomes urgent, I think. But, it might force Tibbs to play some small ball, a bit more in terms of part-time. Not full-time, but part-time. He might go to the small ball a lot more early if Mitch isn't around. We'll see. They do like Precious at the 4 a lot more. I do like that as well. Josh Hart is not a 4 for me. Bates-Diop is a good option for the 4, I think, but we haven't seen him play yet. So, yeah, things are a little thin at that area, but I think we've got enough bodies for now. I do think, December period, trade season is going to be buzzing once again. Guys, all the aggregators, the clickbait channels, they'll be forcing different, material out there for different trades of this guy, that guy. December 15, a lot of options will be available out there, right, to see what happens for the big man position. See, Mitchie's on a very good number. He's on 2 more years on his deal. But Jericho Sims is on his final year of his deal as well. I always look at players contractually first to see where their contracts are at, right? Because the front office does plan for the future, right? They don't just wait for a contract to run out and they say, oh, guys, what do we do? Right? They're already thinking about these things. They've been thinking about these things for a long time. So when a player is in the final year of their deal, they usually make a contingency plan. The contingency plan was to draft a big, Ariel Huckporty, and stick him on a 2-way. So if Jericho's salary is needed to complete a trade, or let's just say his contract runs out and they decide not to renew him, they've got somebody there in the wings, waiting to come in, right? But like I said, Mitchie's got 2 more years to run on his contract, so that isn't a worry from that perspective. It's just the health right now. The other side of it, Precious is on a 1-year deal, right? That is a telltale sign that, one, we're in a tricky situation financially, so they can't really get too generous and start giving out multi-year deals. But the other way to look at it is, $6 million on a 1-year deal. It's very, very trade friendly-esque. And if we're the betting man, if I'm the betting man, I would say that Precious is most likely to be traded for a bigger option, an upgrade. But things can change. Like I said, he might be playing really well. He might change the narrative. He might just be too good to throw in, and we find another way. We find another way to trade somebody else, or trade some picks, sign a buyout guy, all of those things. What's up, AP? The streets are buzzing. Smashing that like button. I'm looking forward to this season, man, and I'm glad we've got a little bit of news on the schedule. Christmas Day, one of many national games that we will get, the biggest of all, Christmas Day, and then we've got preseason sorted now. We're talking about the back end of the roster, Kevin McCullough and also Pacome Dadier, are 2 guys flying under the radar for me, personally, heading into this season. Most others have got their talk or their shine, but people are really overlooking Kevin McCullough because, he's only just signed. We didn't see him in the Summer League. And also Pacome Dadier, right? Some people believe he's a year away from being a year away, maybe 2 years away from being 2 years away, right? But with less expectations, there might be more surprise. I think Pacome Dadier's defense in Summer League was very solid. There's a whole list of factors that could have factored into his offense being not great. He was probably nervous. He's very young. He's very raw. But once he starts to practice with the squad, once he gets his feet wet, gets comfortable we might see a jump. We might see a jump in his game. He's 6'9" and still growing as well. Yet Optimus says teams plan in years advance as far as the salary cap is concerned, especially this front office with cap whiz Brock Aller. Yep, you said it. Sims is an unrestricted free agent after this year as well. And you would like to try to sign Markieff Morris as one of those options. Now, I heard a report recently that Cleveland and also Philly are looking to get Markieff Morris. So, yeah. Markieff Morris is a favourite to join Philly, I think his hometown, or also maybe Cleveland. But he would be a solid add for the Knicks, I think, at the 4 spot. I don't know how much game he's got left, because I'll be honest, I was surprised that he didn't get any rotation minutes pretty much for most of the season. He was on 2 teams. He didn't get many minutes at all. So I'm kind of really, really curious to see where his game is at. But certainly for a veteran's minimum, I think it's a worthwhile swing. But he doesn't address the main concern of the big situation. That's it for me. Dorkosaurus says, I think they'll regret putting Precious on such a short contract, but also the contract will motivate him even more to step up big. Yeah, I think Precious doesn't need that much motivation. I think he knows what this squad is all about. He's a real good locker room guy, and he really stepped up last season. I think where he's at in his career will probably be the biggest motivation, because he's entering his prime. He should be, sticking with a team. He should be looking to, get that contract where, he gets a multi-year contract and contributes on a team, and he's in a pretty good situation with the New York Knicks where he will get rotation minutes. I think if you are a free agent and you're looking at teams, landing in a position where you're in the rotation is the perfect spot to grow your value and showcase. So we'll see. I think, like you said, Precious will be poised to have a good season, right? Whether he's still here past the deadline or not, we'll have to wait to see. But I think he's poised to have a better season than he was last season. I think Tibbs and the coaches don't get enough credit sometimes. That players do come to the Knicks and they do raise their games. I used a lot of examples in the past. In terms of DiVincenzo having his best years, Josh Hart has had his best years with the New York Knicks. Mitch, Precious, OG Anunoby looked better with us than he did with Toronto as well. So I think the coaches are going to get these guys right. Should the Knicks sign JaVale McGee for the vets minimum? He's certainly one of the better veteran minimum options available, but I don't see him signing with the New York Knicks. I don't see the Knicks going that direction. They've had opportunities in the past to get a JaVale McGee, and I think they've just doesn't seem to be the type of guy that they look at for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but I don't see that as something likely. Yeah, Precious is a great guy to have on the team. Dorkosaurus, definitely. He's from the area. He's got all his family here as well. I think he's really ready to help us. I think, as undersized as he is for the 5, I think he can rebound. He can protect the hoop. Vaughn says it's crazy that a 5-year plan in year 5 we have the greatest odds to win a title since ever. It's well executed. It's a plan that they came in with from day one. Leon Rose made all the hires. See, people will just look at Leon Rose when he first took over, like you said, 5 years ago. But once he got the job, he started to hire all the smartest people that he could find and all the people that he knew would help. Brock Aller, getting the right coach to stay as well. William Wesley, starting it and getting Kenny Payne as well, helping us out early. Mike Woodson, helping us out early as well. Frank Zanin, Gerson Rosas, the scouts, all those things. Basically, he put all the pieces in place to succeed, and James Dolan made the right decision, got out of the way as well. Now, James Dolan got out of the way with Phil Jackson, but unfortunately he made the wrong hire and then got out of the way. This time he made the right hire and got out of the way. So that is the biggest difference. What's up, Big B? Wemby received overrated chance at MSG in his debut. The league is leaning into that drama for Xmas, yeah, and the big game in Texas, where he put up 40, Brunson put up 60, and it was a huge game. But yeah, they're definitely trying to elevate Wemby in terms of that situation, fam, on Christmas Day. To be honest, it was a surprise to me, but I don't really care who we play. We got the Christmas Day game. The only thing that I don't like is that it's the first game. I hate the time zone. I hate the time, the matinee. But like I said, I think it might suit some people for Christmas. You might want to watch some Knicks, lunchtime, head out for dinner, and enjoy the rest of your day. For me personally, I love the night games. I love the late games as well. You can do stuff during the day, and then you can rock with the Knicks. There's nothing like that feeling of being at a Knicks game or watching a Knicks game at night. What other matchups do you think we will get? What do you see on opening night? I do think it'll be the Boston one. Opening night, fam. We've played Boston on opening night, I think twice out of the last 3 seasons. Right? If my memory serves correct, we played Boston twice in the last 3 years on opening night. And I think the fact that we don't have Boston on Christmas, it could be a Knicks Indiana, or a Knicks Boston, or a Knicks Philly on opening night. They will try to use the playoff drama to intensify, I think, the start of the season. We'll see how that plays out. AP says, I haven't been to MSG since 89. Wow, you got to get back there, man. If you haven't been there in a minute, I've got to get there as well. It's coming. It's coming, fam. Big season ahead. My expectations, guys, is that we win 52 to 55 wins. Factoring in, whatever bumps along the way there is throughout the season. There's matchups. There's things that pop up. But the Knicks can certainly win more than 55, I think. But, there's no need to go full tilt, I think, in the regular season. Keep guys fresh. Keep them healthy. Don't play as many back-to-backs minutes. Finish in the second or third or first seed. Just avoid the fourth. Avoid the fourth seed, and then you'll avoid Boston. But look, obviously, if we finish in the first seed, we've got the top record, and we'll be better than Boston if that is the case. I want Philly. Okay, yeah, I like that matchup. Joel Embiid hasn't really been, outside of his last game, got to give him props, but the last USA game he balled out. But he's coming out of shape. I think the health will be a big concern. Dorkasaurus says, I just want the Knicks fans to stop underestimating the Pacers again. I don't like them any more than the Knicks fan, but they're historically the bulwark against our playoff progress. Much respect. I think health definitely helped them out, but yeah, they are deserving of where they ended up. They pushed Boston. They didn't win a game, but they definitely should. They choked. But I think there'll be a chance for a top 4 finish. I do think Orlando is coming. Yeah, I have been checking out the Olympics, Johnny. Australia, tough loss to Serbia. And then I saw Serbia push the USA. That was an unbelievable game of just pure basketball, pure talent. That was just a spectacle. Gold medal game. I do think the Team USA will win comfortably. I think Team USA will have had their final already against Serbia. I think France will struggle to defend the guards. I think the bigs, they've got obviously Rudy, they've got Wemby. But I do think the guards, the wings will be too athletic. Knicks Celtics in Boston, says Vaughn, would be lit. Hopefully not in Boston, man, but if it's Knicks Celtics, yeah, that would be great start to the season. Early look, early preview, right? Just get it going. Set the tone early, like you said. Huge. The ratings will be through the roof as well for that one. Yeah, Knicks are tougher than the Celtics. I agree. Toughness. Tibbs, the roster is suited for a real regular season run, in my opinion, because we've got a stacked bench. We can rest some guys more. Our third string depth is better than last season's third string depth. When you're talking about Campaign, Kolek, Keita Bates-Diop, guys with NBA experience. We'll see how McCullough and Sims and Hukpority look early. Dadier, I'll be tracking his progress throughout the season, but he's not really going to factor in, especially early. Jacob Toppin is still on the two-way deal. However, that is yet to be announced because the qualifying offer is out to him. I don't know what is the hold-up, why he hasn't accepted it or whatever it is. But yeah, Jake Toppin is the favourite to return on the final third two-way spot. It just hasn't been announced yet. Maybe the Knicks are keeping options open as well as Jake. But yeah, I do think that the Celtics will suffer a hangover, fam. I really think that it's tough to win back-to-back. Right? The NBA is the toughest league to win in. You know what I mean? You just climb to the top of the mountain. There's only one direction to go. If you're at the top of the mountain, you can't go any higher. The only inevitable is that you're going to come down. You know what I mean, fam? Right? To win multiple years is tough. And I think you're not as hungry, right? You still, obviously, you believe you can win. You're the reigning champs, but that is until you get punched in the mouth by the New York Knicks, in a deeper squad. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Jake hasn't accepted the final qualifying offer for the two-way spot. So we will see how that all plays out. But pre-season, my plan, like I said, is to ease guys into the first two games, give these other guys a good look to see what they can do. No need to play Brunson or Julius or Mitch in these first game or two, or much in that one. Against Charlotte, we'll get to see what they can do against Nick Richards. Maybe our backup bigs look even better. I think the final two-way spot could go to Skapensev, right? Let's be honest. And I like what I saw from Jake Toppin in the Summer League, but is he more of a need where we're stacked at the wing? Or is Skapensev, another big man body, worth just keeping, worth having around, to see, in case something, shakes out, guys. But we're going to wrap this one up. Friday night Knicks off-season chat, man, it's been buzzing. Appreciate you guys and your comments and questions, thoughts, and for smashing that like button, because we've all got the streets buzzing. Right, Spurs at Knicks, MSG, Christmas Day, preseason schedules out as well, and camp invites are coming out now. We'll see what happens with the rest of the camp invites. My favourites would be for Skapensev to get a camp invite based on his success. I think maybe Damian Ball who was a success in the Summer League as well. We know Akiki's coming. Ryan Archidiakono, right? Did the Knicks bring him into camp as well? Right, Bridges got his guy. Does Brunson get his guy? Maybe a training camp invite, right? Help him out, do a favor. We do need practice bodies, all of that. And we'll see if the Knicks do use their $5.2 million exception for the final roster spot for the veteran. Right, Lonnie Walker, Isaac Okoro is a restricted free agent. Shamet and Davis Bertans are out there, and some other veteran minimum dudes. One thing I do, like I said tonight, guys, that Leon loves to stay flexible. Maybe keeping that roster spot open allows us to see what happens, and then fill it when we need with the buyouts, possibly. But adding salary now adds, to me, makes sense because you can flip it, right? In a deal with Precious or with Sims or with Bates-Diop, you could do a whole lot of different trade options to get in another big. If you do bring in a veteran now, that has some value around the league, guys. But the off season, right? It's starting to heat up now as we approach closer to training camp. Guys, we'll be live later in the week with more guests coming up too, and a huge season preview. And of course, we'll go live when some big news breaks. But appreciate everyone. Have a great weekend, right? Stay chill, and I will speak to you soon, everyone. Peace.